Hi there, and welcome to the Accepted Authority podcast. My name is Greg Roworth, and each week on the Accepted Authority podcast, I'm your host, talking about how to accelerate the growth of your consultancy practice. And in today's episode, the beginning of the year 2024, Happy New Year, by the way. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a great break. In today's episode, I want to actually differentiate what it means to be running a practice or to be running a consultancy business. And that to me is a huge difference, because I see so many consultants running practices where, by a practice, I mean it's an exercise focused on delivering results for clients or delivering services to clients, perhaps more precisely there, because often in a consultancy practice, it's about the delivery of services to clients. And sometimes that doesn't necessarily mean the clients get a result. And that's unfortunate, but that is the way that it often turns out, or sometimes turns out. The service is delivered, the consultant gets paid. However, often the client is not really getting the results that they really want. And that to me is an unfortunate set of circumstances, because that's not what our clients are paying us for. Although sometimes they think that's what they want from us and they ask us for our services. However, it is not what they really, really want. And I want to make that distinction. And it sounds like a Spice Girls song, if you can remember back that far. And we want to ask our clients, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. That is where we're able to really get inside our client's mind and understand what their real need is, what their real desire is for the outcome that they're looking for, rather than just complying with their wishes for us to supply them a specific service. So let's get that part out of the way first up, because that's often what I see in consultancy practices. However, what I mean by the difference between a consultancy practice and a consultancy business is that a consultancy practice is typically built around the skills and talents of an individual at first, but then as the business grows, as the consultancy practice grows, it tends to be about the skills and talents of the people on the team. And the work is won because that consultancy firm has skillful people, people with talents, people who are able to solve a specific problem for their clients, and who are skilled at providing particular services that the clients want. Now, what tends to happen in that situation is that often we get a mixed bag of clients coming to us wanting a specific service. And often they come through referrals, more often than not. Because that is where we pick up our clients. Typically, we do a good job for client A. They're talking to somebody else who has the same sort of problem that we solved for client A, and they say to client B, oh, why don't you go to XYZ firm? They did some great work with us. We're very happy with what they did. Why don't you ask them to solve that problem for you? Or they probably don't actually tell them to solve that problem. They will say, why don't you get that service from them? So whatever that particular service might be, they will recommend your service. So our consultancy practice grows around the skills and talents we have from the individuals in our firm. Now, that makes things complicated in a number of different ways. And the complications I see, first of all, are that when we're relying on the skills and talents of the specific individuals in our firm, we tend to get a bit of a mixed bag of service delivery in terms of it coming down to that particular person able to deliver that particular service. And often, if we build out a range of services, it requires that expert or specialist on our team to deliver that specific service. Now, the other factor in that equation is that when we're getting referrals for clients coming to us for services, we also end up with a mixed bag of clients. There's not much consistency or predictability, therefore, in that situation about the type of clients we work with, the type of problems that we solve, and the type of services that we deliver. And the complication extends then to having to have specifically expert people with the ability to service that mixed bag of clients. So what that does is creates complexity in our practice. Our practice needs talented, expert people to provide the services. So if any of those individuals leave our firm, they need to be replaced if we're going to continue that service, and they need to be replaced by someone with the equivalent level of expertise and talent, skill around that service. And those people are often difficult to find, and they're also expensive to employ. So what we end up with is a team of experts who are expensive to employ. So the cost structure of our practice increases beyond what it may do if we didn't need that type of structure and type of personnel in our practice. So let's consider what it looks like to run a consultancy business. And when we talk about a business, let's talk about a successful business. There's a whole range of different types of businesses coming. Well, when you look at the statistics of business failures, there are obviously businesses that are run well and businesses that are not run well, businesses that struggle. So we're not talking about the struggling businesses here. Let's talk about what a successful business looks like. And in a successful business, it's all about simplicity, consistency, and predictability. Now, you consultants who are specializing in quality systems and business systems implementation will understand that quality management processes are all about consistency and predictability about the process. When you put a material into a process, run it through the predictable prescribed system, the consistency of the end output of that process is highly consistent and highly predictable. That's why the system has been designed so that you know that when you insert material A, you receive the specific outcome that you're looking for with a very fine margin of variation from that end output. So successful businesses are all about systemization, consistency, and predictability. That to me is a far different proposition from the normal consultancy practice, where we're talking about people with different ranges of skills and expertise, clients that have a different range of problems and request different types of services from us. And whenever they request those specific services, they have an array of different problems that we're looking to solve, because every client in that scenario tends to be different from each other. There's a mixed bag of clients that we have to work with, which requires those clever, expensive people to be able to solve the problem and solve the way the problem needs to be solved. There's a number of different puzzles in that equation. Not only do we have to solve the client's problem, but we have our own problem of how we're going to solve that problem. So it needs clever people to be able to deliver that service for each client. And every time there's a new client with a slightly different situation, a slightly different problem, we have to reinvent the wheel in how we're going to solve that specific client's problem. So we can't run exactly the same process time after time. So our practice is quite different from the successful business where we have consistency and predictability because of the systems. Now, when it comes to systems, we're not just talking about your operating systems, the delivery systems, the way that you work with your clients, the way that you deliver a specific service. We also extend those systems to the marketing and sales processes as well. And this is where most consulting practices fall short as well, because there's no consistency and predictability about the outcomes of the sales and marketing processes, because in most situations there's a lack of systemization about sales and marketing. We typically acquire new clients through referrals. That's been the age-old process that professional service firms operate by. And as consultancy firms, we fall within that class of operation. And we have tended to get clients through referrals, which is great. That shows, first of all, that we're actually doing a good job. We are getting results for clients. Our clients are happy. So I'm not saying we shouldn't get referrals, but what I am saying is that we shouldn't rely only on getting referrals through a random process that's inconsistent and not predictable. Even with getting referrals, we need to put our referee, the referred potential client, through our system to qualify them, to see if they're the right client for us, first of all, to see if they have the problem that we solve, and to see if they have the problem that we can solve in the predictable, consistent way that we go about solving those problems, because we have a systemized approach to solving that problem. So that scenario looks quite different from most consulting firms that I have seen and most consulting firms that I've worked with before we started to work with them. We're able to get scalability and salability from consultancy businesses that systemize the way they operate through sales and marketing, through operations, and also through management processes. And when we can systemize each of those aspects of the business, well, firstly, it frees up the owners of the business from having to be involved in the day-to-day running. It extracts the owners of the business from having to be involved in the delivery of services, and even extracts the owners from having to be involved in the sales and marketing processes when we get that nailed down and perfected and systemized in a way that other people can do the sales and marketing. So to take our business to the next level, we need to actually operate as a business, not a practice. If we're going to stick with the practice style of operation, we will always create complexity, we will always create inconsistency, and we will have unpredictable results. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, that sounds a lot like gambling. We don't need to be gambling with our professional life, with our professional income, with our business future. A better bet to me is to create a systemized business based around consistency and predictability. First of all, having consistency of types of clients with similar types of problems where we can almost apply a cookie cutter approach. Now, I know that has a stigma and a bad vibe to it in consultancy. People tend not to like a cookie cutter approach. People want, particularly clients seem to look at it and say, well, we don't want your cookie cutter approach. We want you to work specifically on solving our problem, which is different from anyone else's problem. Well, really, that is their perception. Is not accurate. And particularly when you can confine your client focus to a specific niche where your target market is based around similar types of clients that have a similar problem that can be resolved, or that our services can be provided in a very systematic, consistent way. Now, when we're able to do that, we create simplicity in our practice. We turn our practice into a business that is simple to run, consistent in its delivery processes, and predictable with our outcomes. So having simplicity, consistency, predictability also means that our cost structure can be simplified. We don't need such a level of expertise and different varied skills and talents across our people. We can train less expensive people to run the systems that we use to deliver our services to clients. We can train people to be specialists in our systems. We can train less expensive people to deliver brilliant results because the process is the same time and time again. Now, if that's what you call a cookie cutter approach, I'm all for it. To me, I would rather run a simple, efficient, profitable business because we have consistency and predictability dialed in. We have that dialed in our marketing so that we're attracting premium level clients that are a perfect fit for what we do best. Now, if we can get that equation right, attract our premium level clients that are a perfect fit for what we do best, we can run a very efficient, highly profitable business that frees us from having to be involved in day-to-day activities. We can step back and become more strategic in our approach so that we can look at how do we scale our business, how do we get our business to a point where it's saleable. Whether you actually want to sell your business or not is a different matter. But having a saleable business means you have the choice. You have the option of whether you stay involved in the business or whether you step back from the day-to-day running. You can sell the business and live off the proceeds, or you can continue to operate the business from a distance and live off the profits. To me, that is the definition of a business that is successful. And having a professional service business or a consultancy business that operates like that is my aim and the aim that I have for my clients. So if you understand the difference in what I've talked about today, you have a choice. You can decide to continue to run a consultancy practice with unpredictability, lack of consistency, the need for expensive, highly talented people, or you can decide to systemize the way you work with your clients, the way you work with your staff, create an efficient, effective, consistent, predictable business that gives you the freedom to enjoy the profits of that business machine that you've created. If you like some help with that, then reach out to me. Either do a search on LinkedIn or Facebook for Greg Roworth and reach out to me there, or go to my website at businessflightpath.com, where you'll find opportunities to download free information about the processes that we have systemized, or get on a call with me and have a chat about your specific situation so that we can see whether we're a good fit to be able to offer you the solutions that you really, really want in your business. So that's it for me for today. First one for 2024. I hope you're looking forward to a great year, and I'd love to be able to play a part in your success in 2024. This is Greg Roworth, the Accepted Authority Podcast, over and out.